Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kapp from South Africa. Today, I am streaming from Marble Falls in Texas. Yes, it's yet another town here in Texas. It's been such a busy time this year, but busy is good. Just want to give a shout out to the audience members. You guys are amazing. To the guests, thank you so much for blessing us with your wisdom, your knowledge, and your experience. And today, we are here with yet another amazing guest, and I hope that I pronounce his last name correctly. It's Sifu Damien Chauremootoo. Now you have to correct me if I'm wrong. How do I pronounce that?
That's the one.
Not like that.
You know, I tried to change it many times to my mom's last name because I thought it would have been easier. My mom's last name is Dupre. It sounds a little bit more, nub. But Chauremootoo. I spelled it out to people. Everyone they asked me, how do I say it? I said, let me spell it out to you.
Right. I thought it was going to sound horrible, especially with my accent as well.
No, you did great. You did great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I guess with the time difference, we've made it finally happen. It's 8 o'clock here in Melbourne. We're on Saturday. It's 5 degrees. It's gonna puff a jump. I'm warming up and doing some push-up inside my jacket. I'll take it off soon.
That's good. That's good. Yes, audience members, we really worked at getting this interview done because with the time differences, sometimes I'm on Eastern Standard Time, sometimes Central Standard Time. And for some reason, I thought that your time zone was behind me, but you're actually ahead. So here we are. And that shows that we are, we are go-getters and we are tenacious, and we decided we're going to make this happen. Now, it's a huge honor for me, a tremendous honor for me to have you on the show. And I want you to tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. So, thank you so much for the introduction. Well, my name is Sifu Damien. Sifu stands for instructor in Kung Fu. I've been doing martial arts for nearly over 30 years. I train with a lot of great, amazing martial artists who inspired me to be who I am today. And I've took the path of empowering people for living, basically using martial arts principles to empower people. You know, how we just mentioned before, we were trying in so many ways to get in touch, to be able to do this live and, to get live show together. And we managed to do it. And I think about one of the greatest things about martial art is persistence. It's a vehicle that gives you all these attributes for you not to give up in life. And change my motto in instead of using punches and kick for people to believe in themselves, I wanted them to use punches and kick to set up their life pathways and to believe in themselves in their own way to achieve what they're meant to be.
Absolutely. That's empowerment right there. And here at Meticulous Moments, the slogan, the tagline is community upliftment through leadership development. Now, you work a lot with communities, you work a lot with leaders, you work with celebrities, corporate leaders, educational institutions, and community organizations. How has that journey been for you up to this point?
Well, that has been a great achievement. It all started by teaching basically self-defense and martial arts into all these different organizations, including the schools mainly. We started doing a lot of Kung Fu. As many great masters will say, in martial arts, you need something to show and you need something to teach. And I guess the kids were captivated with the little punches and little kicks. I had a lot of stuff that was obviously, acrobatic, and they were doing a lot of flips, and the kids were like, wow. And as soon as I got their attention, I was able to slide in what they really need in life in terms of values and principle. And we decided to improve the program, and we've developed so many programs. Like, for instance, we have a very, an incredible program at the schools now that's called the We Are Strong Within program. And the We Are Strong Within program is a program that helps people to believe in themselves, So for the kids, we'll talk about this strong DNA, that everyone was born with this strong DNA, and they have the ability to stand up for themselves, to build up self-confidence. When they feel a little bit upset, what can they do to be able to stand back up and be able to, utilize the strong powers to be able to get out of bed and go to school and get to their grading, get to their kata and their belt, whether they're doing karate or boxing, kung fu, any sports, tennis. And the school system loved the fact that we, as martial artists, don't go in and talk about, okay, if something happened to you in life, you're going to block and you're going to punch and you're going to kick. It's all about mental strength.
Right.
And I guess that has been gratifying because you were able to tailor this program to everyone. Then we tap into the disability program, which was really, really empowering for myself because I really wanted to give back to the community. And I remember one day I walked into this massive stadium and there was a lot of people with disability, and we call it All Abilities program in Australia.
Right.
And basically some had intellectual disability, someone in a wheelchair, someone's got Down syndrome, and they were all at the same program together. So we have a lot of different type of disabilities, and some of them were playing basketball. And I thought, oh my God, I'd love to one day empower these people. But mind you, to be really honest, I had no idea what to do because as most coaches out there and instructors will know, it's quite hard to help someone who's got obviously specifics that they need to improve, but not let alone have a team of disability who has different ability to, in the same time, you have to be able to get their attention. Some of them could have with their arm, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest challenge. And
Right.
I guess I feed myself off challenge every morning. Every morning I get up, I thought, what's next? What's going to challenge me to get out of bed? And I brought a little speaker. And I thought, I'm going to try to make a fool out of myself. It's like the kids that I teach at the school. Once they start doing these kicks to their head, I'm like, oh my God. I was like, don't worry, this is what martial arts has to offer. The discipline and the ability to judge your distance. And I thought, what can I do? I can't do this with the disability program because obviously it's going to be hard for them to replicate the movement.
Yes.
And I got a little speaker and I started dancing. And I started dancing and I started doing some little movement because I love music. I believe that music has this high frequency to make people feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know anyone that will put their favorite tune on at any time of the day and won't feel good about themselves. I think music has this way of transporting your mind to a positive mindset, and
True.
I did this with this program, and everyone was like, oh my God. And I said, all right, guys, we're going to clap. And I said, instead of doing 3-4 claps, we're going to do 2 claps. And we started doing 2 claps, and everyone was having such a great time. And I thought, okay. And I was getting excited because I was able to get the attention, and everyone was doing it. And while I was doing it, I was dancing, I'm like, all right, what's next? Bring up the martial art values and, the dance and the fun part. What can I do to get everyone? And everyone was clapping. I'm like, all right, guys, let's go. Hiya! And everyone was doing the kia and the fa hing, how we call it in Chinese, or the kia in karate. And I was having a great time. And I said, okay, now I'm going to grab your hands. So someone grab your hands. You're going to do a clap and you're going to do a palm strike. And they loved it. It's like, oh my God, I just learned Kung Fu. and everyone's face was just, they were so happy. And of course, when you do this program, we have a lot of carers that always make sure they're looking after them. And some of them have their own teachers who would be at the program. I'm like, this is so educational. We're not learning punching and kicking. We're learning to have fun. We're learning mobility. And I developed this program for many years now. And it's very gratifying to see them doing something that is not martial arts focused, but at the same time, it will help their martial arts if they have to protect themselves. Or, I guess my own belief in martial arts, it's not just to be able to get a black belt and show that you can do a form or a kata, but to show every martial artist, I believe it's very important to be distinguished, whether you're walking into a martial arts gym, studio, academy, you can identify who is a black belt, but it's also very important when you walk on the street, you can also identify who is a martial artist. It's how they respect others and how they conduct themselves. And I thought that was very empowering to see them being happy. And I believe that every martial artist needs to be grounded, and that's not easy. It's not easy for ourselves, but I guess everyone needs someone to empower people, to be able to show them that even though you feel down, you can do it, which then leads me to my next program that I started about I think a couple of years ago. everyone talks to me. I'm like, oh, Sifu Damien, we have so many people coming from around the world and doing movies and doing a lot of cool stuff like The Matrix. Like not long ago, we had Robert Patrick that was in Melbourne, and we were
Wow.
having a great time. And he was explaining to me when he was shooting the Terminator 2, the T1000, and he had to come up with some great movement. And he was saying that he did some wushu and Wing Chun training just
Yeah.
before the shoot. And I said, oh, okay. And I was trying to put the pieces back together. I
Yeah.
said, what do you mean? How did you use it? And he was explaining to me that when he was getting shot with Arnold into the movie, to make the effect great, he had to do these movements. I'm like, oh my
Right.
God, look at that. That's amazing. And it's incredible, you know. I believe that I'm a father. Whoever I bring at the front of the martial arts schools, or you know, to lead or to do talk or to demonstrate something, it has to be a role model for our community, because it is very important. Right. As an instructor, I believe that whether we like it or not, we have a role to inspire. Yeah. And you know, monkey see, monkey do. As a parent, you could tell your kids to do this, they won't do it. But if you do it, they will do the same. They follow the same path. So as an instructor, I believe that we have the responsibility to inspire people and also to be a great role model. So
that's right.
If I'm drinking a coffee, I'm sure or I'm drinking a tea, most people will think, oh, Sifu Danien's saying this, we have to drink a tea, it's going to make us feel good. So it's very important to anything that you do, it's important to inspire people. So when Robert was explaining this, I said, great. And I was sharing, obviously, the knowledge and that moment with my students. And I said, look at that. We never thought about this. Everyone was looking at Robert Patrick, never thought about Kung Fu, never thought about Wushu. And that a small moment in life helped him to be showcased and to be create memories until today, that everyone still talk about that movie and the movement, and no one sort of put the dots together. And I said to him, oh my God, and this is why I've designed my program, which was, I did it for the adults and the corporate, which is called the Morpheus program. And the Morpheus program is all about everyone wants to be Neo, but no one wants to be Morpheus. You know, everyone wants to do all the thing in the air, everyone wants to jump off the building. But there's not many people out there that would love to be able to spend so much time with everyone, because there's a lot of Neo out there. There's a lot of Trinity out there. There's a lot of people that want to be good, but we need the right person to spend the right time with them to be able to get them to be a better version of themselves. And I created this Morpheus program because I believe in every companies or big organization like soccer, football, footy, rugby, or anything, the coach has a moment, and that moment he would say something or teach them something that would change their entire life. And you only got one shot. I tell all my students that there's 3 things that you really can't get back in life: words, opportunity, and time. You know, once you've said it, you can't get it back. Yeah. And the opportunity, you only get one shot. Now, you will probably have many shots, but the shot that you're looking for, it's probably that one shot that you have to be at 100%. That's it. Yeah. And also, you know, and the time is limited. You know, I mean, time is limited simply because we're getting older. I mean, even though we think that we believe that we can be strong mentally and strong physically, the older you get, it doesn't look the same, you know. That's right. You know, I mean, I spent some time with Don Wilson. I mean, Cynthia Rothrock is incredible. She's amazing. You know, she's an inspirational woman for all the women that I teach. I wish that everyone has the ability to still be that flexible and that fun at that era that she's right now, and still going strong. And that's what I feel like. Time is important. You got to make the most out of it, because you never know what tomorrow is about. I felt like I was nonstop talking. Let me know. Is that what we're supposed to do?
There were so many good pieces of wisdom in there. And yes, a shout out to Cynthia, my friend. I met her
Hey, Cyn.
I met her at the Action Martial Arts Hall of Honor. And she's amazing. She's amazing. She's also been on the show. And she's great. Incredible. Yeah, you know, when you were talking about working with the kids with the disabilities and the way that you approach that, I thought about how important it is, that we focus on our mind and our character. It's true what you said. It's not about being able to beat someone up, guys. It's about who you become as a person. Having those skills means nothing if you are not a good person with morals and values, like you've mentioned, with a good character, that you live the same way that you act in the
Absolutely.
dojo and live, that you are the same person outside. And teachers, sifus, kiyoshis, senseis, they all shape us on our journey. It's a lifelong journey. It will always continue, but there are those moments that you look back on your martial arts journey that you remember. That lesson that my sensei taught me connected things for me. That lesson that I had that day changed things up. It helped me to see the world in a better way, or to empower me. And it's so important that we really practice those things, not just in the dojo but outside as well. I think it was incredible the way that you broke the ice with them,
Thank
because
you.
I think
Thank you.
as a teacher, you thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to teach them? But I think they also thought, they know their disabilities, so they were like, how on earth are we going to learn Kung Fu? And you found that,
Exactly.
right? You were adaptable,
Exactly. That's right.
right?
That's right.
So you're very good at what you do. I mean, you've been doing this for
Thank
7
you.
years. You're welcome. You've been doing it
Th-
for so long. And before we
Thank
started the
you.
interview, guys, I said to Damien, we have to talk about the fact that there is a plaque at the Shaolin Temple,
That's right.
your name on it. Tell us how that happened.
Well, I was, all the credits goes to Grandmaster William Chung. So I remember I was learning martial arts, and I got to meet Grandmaster William Chung, and we became very, very close. And I trained underneath him. This is where I got most, obviously, my Wing Chun Kung Fu skills from him. And we spent a lot of time. He's developed so many programs. He's got so many schools scattered around the world. And his entire, one of the main goals of what he wanted to do is to bring Wing Chun Kung Fu back to the roots of the Shaolin Temple, because he's got such a strong connection with the Shaolin Temple and the abbot. And the idea behind the marble plaque is also to represent the masters and students and everyone who would share the knowledge of Wing Chun Kung Fu around the world, because I believe it's also very important to preserve the roots and the tradition, and also to respect the people that has instilled these tradition, and it's still doing the grand work, to be able to preserve this tradition of martial arts. Even though I'm very grateful that I have the ability to sort of amend and change it into my own way in delivering the program, because I would think that we evolve in time. The attention span of kids or adults are very small. Everything is a little bit too easy for them to be able to access. I mean, someone would want to learn something, they would just go on YouTube. They would just, they felt like they've got knowledge, and they will probably have foundation if they're really good at putting the pieces back together. But at the same time, I think it's very important to give the respect to the people that has contributed to the world of martial arts. And in 2013, I'm sort of giving a nutshell of explanation how all this happened. I was doing seminars all around, and as well as Grandmaster, and he had selected the people who, with him, has helped contributing the art of martial arts of Wing Chun Kung Fu through that.
Yeah.
And we had, I think it was on the 11th of November or the 9th of November of 2013, went back to the Shaolin Temple, and we erected that marble plaque where we have many names of martial artists, including Robert Downey Jr. is on that plaque, who shared the knowledge of Wing Chun Kung Fu, which is incredible. And obviously all the credits to all the Sifus out there, and Grandmaster William Chung, who continue, and all his students around the world, to share the knowledge of Kung Fu. That's why we've got that on.
Amazing, amazing. I believe martial arts is changing the world. It's changing the fabric of our society.
Absolutely.
It really is. It's producing amazing individuals. And not only that, it's setting people up for greater things. Because when they learn, that respect, how to treat people with dignity, how to, just have that self-confidence, they don't just use that in the dojo. They take that out into the world, into their workplaces, into their studies, into their families. I think martial arts is really something amazing. And, it's a journey, but it's also part of our development. It's something that really touches us I feel that martial arts finds people. I don't think people just go out and find martial arts. We all have different stories of why we started, but it's almost like the martial arts finds you. I was sitting with a lady that I visited in January before I went to the Hall of Honor, and she was telling me about her life, and she started martial arts very late in her life. I think it was like in her 50s. And I said to her
Yeah,
at one
wow.
point, yeah, when I heard the story, I said to her at one point, I said, well, the martial arts just found you. You know, it found
Yeah,
you because
wow. That's true.
in you. It's an energy, and everything
That's
is
true.
frequency, right? I meet so
And
many
that's true.
of these people. Yeah, and that frequency, you can feel it, Louis. I'm sure you can feel it as well.
In energies, I believe that and this is exactly, I'm
Right?
just gonna uh, say something just of what you said, because this is very important. That's why we refer to music. Energy is contagious, you know.
Right?
It's like animals, you know.
Yeah.
People like, oh my god, I'm scared of dogs, and well, they feel your energy, you know. The way you react to them is the way they're going to react back.
Good.
If you're scared, they're going to feel it, and usually they absorb that and they react to this. Usually dogs start barking and they start moving around, and they feel frightened by that.
Yeah.
And I think every human being has the same thing. And I believe that martial arts helps you to build up your self-confidence, to believe in yourself that you can do so. You know, I said something to someone about 2 weeks ago. She came in because where I have one of my studio, it's close to a lot of corporates in central Melbourne. And there's a lot of people working and walking around, and it's like, oh my God, I don't think I can do this. Oh my God, this looks great on TV, but this is enough for me. And I said, I understand, I totally agree. But you've got kids. Yes. What if I will grab your kid's neck right now and I will squeeze it? Can you
Yeah.
take me down? It's too
Yeah.
late.
Right?
Can you? And she looked at me, she's like, of course I will. I said, of course you will. Say, anyone, and I think, and I give credit back to Tony Blower for this quote, who's doing an amazing job teaching people around the world with his fear and spear management system. Anyone can fight. They just don't know they can. If, as a parent, if you have to protect your loved ones and someone is grabbing them, you won't think twice. You won't think if they've got a black belt, if they've got a knife, you will grab them and try to push them and try to help to
Yeah.
protect your loved ones. And that's what you do. You all of a sudden you become your own bodyguard, right? And that shows you that anyone can do it. You don't think of injuries. You don't think about what happened next. And if you take the same analogy, there's a lot of people who's suffering. We do a lot of fundraisers to help charity. We do a lot of work for child abuse, domestic violence, and
Good.
also people who's gone through trauma all around the world. And I said to someone, I said, if you had a choice today, right now, at this time of the day, not thinking that someone will be able to do a heart transplant for someone that's dying or someone who's got a cancer, there's a cure. But all you have to do, you have to lose 20% body fat. You telling me right now that you're not going to do whatever it takes by next week to lose 20% body fat? You're probably going to be on that bike right now and sweating until next week and not eating anything.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't realize what we can do until we have no choice. And
That's
because we
right.
work so much with people who's been through trauma and the experience and what they've gone through is incredible. And I utilize a lot of my own experience and a lot of experiences of my staff. I like to have people that I have empowered and have been through a lot of traumas,
Yeah.
because they utilize this martial art principle to be able to do it. And I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that they've gone
Right.
through it completely, but the journey of it has helped them to be an inspiration for themselves and for the people watching. It's like a marketing tease. If you tell your brother, your sister, hey, this is good, you got to do this, they're going to listen to you.
Exactly.
Their friends will always look up to what the brother and sister are doing. The third tier. So there's always someone down the bottom who's going to see someone is connected to the person they connected, who's doing great, and they want to be around this. If someone has a contact to a nightclub, oh my God, I know someone. They don't. They just know someone related. Or if someone has is connected to a bank, they just say, I know someone in that line because they are connected. So it's just a mindset. So by doing this, for them to be going through that journey, there's always someone watching. And this sort of I wouldn't call it a marketing, because I really genuinely do and help people and push them, as I mentioned to you. But that's why we don't spend too much time in terms of, oh, we're going to help your trauma, we're going to help your ability, we're going to help this, because I believe that what we do genuinely speak volume. And I think it's not easy, but this analogy, I wish I could have 100 people just there, and I said, okay, I'm going to help you, but it's impossible. Even if I would love to, it will be impossible in terms of quality to say that I will be able to help them. And that for me is my priority number one. I would rather have one person a day help them and know that I can do it. And also 10 instructors to help them to help others, rather than being by myself and having 100 people, because there will no way. I mean, I walk on the street and say, oh, hello, Sifu Damien. I have no idea who they are, just because I've been to a school and there's 160 kids lined up, or I've been to a corporate, there's 80 people lined up and doing the clap, but I can't, it will be impossible for me to, oh, this is Jenny, this is John. You know, there's no relationship. When you have one person, you can help them. And it's like a dark room. If I turn this light off right now and light up a candle, one candle is enough to see and to lead the way. I believe if you pass that candle and that torch to everyone else, and they can hold on to it, and then they're going to be scared that it's going to burn their hand, you create some leaders. And this goes to my More Peace program, and it helps to keep that candle up until someone else can light themselves and light others. So what I'm trying to say, though, is as much as I enjoy doing this, I would love to empower more leaders to know that there's quality in making sure that it's fulfilled with passion, rather than thinking, oh my God, we have been able to have a martial arts school with 100 people in it. It's not about that, because you can fill up any martial arts school, any businesses around the world, and you can lose everything instantly if you do something wrong. You can spend a lifetime doing something right, but you probably will never have any recognition for that. But do something wrong once, you make the news.
Oh, that's right. I mean, my golly, I can really agree with that one. Absolutely.
Do something wrong once. You do something wrong. I'm going to take your jacket. There's always, and that's what I meant. I meant that there's always people, there's always someone who's watching. There's always someone watching your work. There's always someone who is not going to give their 2 cents. I believe this. I think that will be great for me. But they're always watching. You know, it's like people used to say, you post something on social media, and no one is going to like it. You put something on story, and you can see your storyline going up and down. And I said, look, the truth is, you have to detach. And this is where Kung Fu is really good. I remember, now talking about the Shaolin Temple, we had one of the great Master Yan Chauremootoo, who came down to Melbourne, and he came to visit me and brought me a little present, which was really nice of him. And he's like, oh my God, I'd love for you to do a lot of things to share the knowledge of Shaolin Kung Fu. It was a big moment because I didn't see this coming. I tend to put a lot of goals in my life. When I was 7 years old, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to meet that person. I'm going to train. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this in a minute, but talking about Master Yan Chauremootoo. So he came out and he said, this is great, but we need this today. And I said, he was using a translator, and I thought, oh my God, today. And it reminded me that Kung Fu, it's all about living in the present.
Right.
It doesn't matter how good you were yesterday. You could have, you could have been 12 times world champion. You could have been 100 times an incredible martial artist. You could have been the best business analysis or marketing in the world. But if you can't do it today, it's not good enough. Right. You have to be able to perform every day, any day, at any time, if you say that's what you are. And I tend to believe this is the greatest part of Kung Fu, about being grounded. Like Bruce Lee says, empty your cup. You want to be in the present, and you want to be in the moment. You want to be able to reflect on your task for today, not how good you were yesterday, not how bad you were yesterday, but what can you do today to make it better? It's always on a daily basis. It's always a present. And that's what's great about Kung Fu. I mean, it reminds you that you have to do some breathing exercise. You have to focus on yourself. I mean, unconsciously, we do it everywhere. We go on a plane. Before you save your loved ones, you got to put the mask on yourself, you know? So when you're driving, you still have to put the seatbelt on yourself. I guess it's very important to do self-care. And self-care in Kung Fu is being grounded, making sure that you're focused into your training and your movement, and it helps you to stay more relaxed, and there's no tension into your body. So I think being in the present is really good.
I agree with you. I always tell people be present in the moment, and that's what we learn in the arts, Damien. Because, you know, my Kiyoshi always used to tell me, because I've always had a busy schedule. I like being busy, and he would just see if I've had one of those days. If I walk into the dojo and bow, you know, and greet him, he would say, "Okay, well, remember you have to leave everything that has happened today outside. This is your time now.
Yeah,
With empty mind." He said, "There's no rushing now. There's just breathing and enjoying working on yourself. Because if you are better, if you put in that self-care and that practice in yourself, you can be better for others. You can show up better at
that's
work.
right.
You can show up better for your family. If you have to go for an event, you know, if you're going to travel." And we always taught us empty mind. So when I've done it for so long that when I go in there, there's nothing. It doesn't matter if something has gone wrong horribly. By the time I leave the dojo, it's almost as if those problems were not there, because I feel so refreshed, and you know, I feel so relaxed. And it's a paradox, because you go there to fight and train, because our dojo is full contact. You go there to fight and train and really work very hard, but you feel so relaxed
Yeah,
when you're done with your training, which, I mean, doesn't make sense, right? You're supposed to be tired, but
absolutely.
instead of being tired, you are energized
Yeah,
and revitalized. So that's what I love. But
absolutely.
being present in the moment is so important.
Absolutely.
Yesterday doesn't matter. What's coming tomorrow, we don't know, but now matters. And I agree with you completely, because
Absolutely.
that's building tomorrow, right? So there was another story you wanted to
That's true.
share.
I was going to talk about when I was young, and
Let's
I
hear
always wanted to do. You know, I was, but you know what's funny? In fact, I'm going to clear this out because this is funny how people say, what is your name? Is it Damien Louis?"
You're
And I thought I'm
Damien
going to
from now
use this. I'm going to use this show to clear this out. So when, because I was born in Mauritius, it's a beautiful little island in the Indian Ocean, and my dad's family lives in Paris,
Yeah.
and my mom's family lives obviously in Mauritius, but also in Australia. So when I was growing up at the age of 7, I said, "Oh my God!" I was watching. I was still and not moving when my dad would bring back all these old VHS and martial arts movie, and I'm like, "Oh my God,
I
I want to
remember.
do this." So I get so excited, and I thought I really would like to be able to train. And my mom walked me up to this karate school, which was not far because I was the only thing that was close and available. I ran everywhere. And I trained really hard, and I got my first yellow belt and I did my kata, and I was really happy about this. And I remember she pulled me out of that school, and I was really upset. And I thought, "Oh my God." And my mom is quite short compared to me. And she was a school teacher. And I said, "Mom, what are you doing?" The exact words. I was really upset. There was no reasonable talk with a 7.5-year-old to your mother when she pulled him out of the karate school. And she said, "No, you're going to use the same principles," because my grades at the time was really bad. I could see
Yeah.
F, E. There was no A to be found,
Yeah.
And then she said, "I just want 4 A's." And I'm like, 4 A's? This is impossible. And I thought to myself, "Oh my God, she's going to kill me." And she was really strict. It's not like nowadays. I mean, I'm not sure where you are, but kids try to get away and
Oh,
try to have a
yes.
big tantrum and try to feel like, "Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself." Couldn't do that. Even if I wanted to kill myself, she'll make sure she kill me before I think about it. So,
For you.
so old school. So and I worked so hard, and after I think it was several months, and I did it. I did brought the A. And until now, sometimes every time I get, like everybody else, you have these little up and down in your life and your challenges. And my little sister was like, "Do you remember this? Get back up. You inspire people. This is what you've done." I'm like, "Oh my God, it's many, many years ago."
Right.
And I remember when I got that, I got so excited. And I said, "Mom, I want to go back. I'm going back now. It's been like a couple of months that I've stopped martial arts." And she gave me a watermelon.
Mm.
And she gave me watermelon because it was my favorite fruit. I'm like, is that my present? I said, "I just want to go back to karate." And she walked me back. I said, "Okay, we're gonna go." But she walked me back to the same street. On the left was a karate school. And further up on the right, there was a scout club. And she said, "No, this is what you're gonna do. You're
Yeah.
going to scout every Saturday afternoon, and
Yeah.
you're only going to go, if you stick to scout, you're only going to do martial arts every Wednesday. I said, "Man, this is not enough. There's no way I can get back on track.
Yeah.
And I've got goals." I said, "Great, I've got goals too. And this is what you're going to do. And we're not going to
Yeah.
talk about it." And I remember I did it. And I guess I'm only mentioning this because that changed my entire life. Because scouts at the time, we had great leaders. It was very inspirational, very respectful, very disciplined, very regiment to what martial arts was about. And that really helped me to overcome a lot of different hurdles. I remember I was 10 and I had to cook for 50 people at 6 o'clock. If I wasn't ready by the 10 to be, to be ready at nighttime and the dinner was ready for 50 people, would I be sleeping? We call this a sentinel. I'll be staying up all night and watching over everyone sleeping. And it happened a couple of times because 50 people, even though everything was ready, we had like boiling water, we were trying to cook pastas, but still I was 10 years old, that's not what I expected to do. But that helped me to shape me who I am today and to be, I would say, independent, and people at the time, because I'm just going back to that age era, and I went back and I continued my martial arts, and that really helped me. But everyone since that era called me Damien. Why? Because it's my middle name. And when I came to Australia, I remember they called you on the first name on your birth certificate or your driver's license. And because my grandfather and everyone was being called Louis, so they had Louis or Louis, how they say it in French, they had it on the first. So I'm like, oh my God. So someone will stop you and ask you for your driver's license.
Yeah.
It was too much to keep explaining every single day. My name is Damien. So I thought, I'm going to go with it. This is going to be Louis. For a time of my life, it was Louis. And then when Grandmaster William Chung, for some reason, he would always call me Damien, even though people were calling me Louis. I don't know why. Maybe he asked me, how was your mom calling me?
Right.
Yeah, he kept calling me Damien. Like I went back to the past again. And since then, this is where I became a Sifu, and everyone will call me Sifu Damien. So this is my little story about where there's two. There's some people who knows me Louis, some people who knows me as Sifu Damien. Most of them now.
most of them. Yeah, well, that's an interesting story. And you mentioned that your mom was a short lady.
So I go with both.
My mom was short as well, and she was so strict.
Mom is short.
Yeah,
She was. I remember, and this is where it goes. What did you say? I
used to call her a pocket rocket because she was so small, but nobody dared buy her because if she spoke, her word was law.
I know.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, my mom was. My mom was. What I admire about my mom, she would always be using her attitude to bring people down off the ladder of anger, and it was a little bit different. My dad was a male role figure. He would just speak, and he was like, "Hey, there's no mucking around here." But my mom would use her mouth to be able to calm people down or put them back to their shoe. And I remember one day we were at a festival. I think I was 15. I can't remember. Probably 15 years old. And it was an outdoor festival. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of kids. They probably were drinking. And one of my cousins was playing music. He used to play Ministry of Sound, like all these big festivals. And I remember, for some collection of my memory right now, I remember for some weird reason, someone gave my younger brother a cigarette to try, and I was quite far, and I could see him. He was trying to smoke, and I don't smoke, but he was doing this, and all of a sudden, this is the memory. All of a sudden, I could see him doing this. And all of a sudden, there's a smug out of nowhere, out of the crowd. It was a festival, right? The smug was just, pow! I'm like, oh my God. And I walked in, I saw my mom, and I backed up straight away. I remember backing up. I'm like, I'm not getting involved in this. And I can see my dad further away at the gate. He's just standing there. He's like, he's not going to get involved. And I thought, wow, she didn't care. She didn't care who it was. And she didn't, there's so many memories of my mother who was like so little and so fearless to stand up for what's right. And for me, that moment, I was like, wow.
Yeah, you'll never forget.
I want to teach all the women this.
Did he continue smoking or did
he
stop smoking? He didn't? Or what happened after that day?
No, he stopped. No. Well, I think he probably tried again, but he stopped. He stopped. He doesn't smoke. He's I wouldn't say someone who smoked. He stopped. He stopped smoking.
It makes me think.
He doesn't smoke.
There's a comedian in America. Joe Coy. And he always talks about his small Filipino mom and how strict she was and how she just said what she thought, you know, she was ruling that household. So that makes me think of it. But, you know, I know he builds his comedy around that. But if you really look into the deeper message of what he does, because that's his way of communication is, you know, making the jokes. It gets people to open up and to listen to what he's saying. But his deeper message really is that his mom shaped his life, you know, and she made him the person that he is today. And she's the reason that he's successful. So, I mean, it's so important to have parents that are disciplined and that exert discipline in their house, hold in a good way, you know,
Absolutely.
in a way that works for that family. My mom was very strict. I mean, we used to get hidings with.
Absolutely.
I didn't even wait to go get whatever, you know, ornament she had to correct us. She would take something that was close to her and she would throw you with a pan and tell you this is nonsense. But I loved her to bits and I still do because she made me. I was so disciplined that by the time I got to martial arts training, it wasn't a problem to fall in line and to listen and be teachable. And I think that's a very important thing. We have to stay teachable in life and in our careers and in our relationships, you know, in various ways, personal and professional. Now, I wanted to ask you why specifically Kung Fu? Because I've trained in a Kung Fu dojo. I think it's a lovely style. It's very powerful. Why did you choose Kung Fu specifically?
Oh, wow, interesting question. I love all martial arts. I've got a black belt in karate and aikido. I love boxing. I love the intensity of kickboxing. But after I did some competition, and I thought to myself, the last one I had fractured ribs, and I thought, and I thought, if this is what I want to do, and the intensity, I guess, in all contact martial arts is the training. Right. The training is the journey of the training is more important and it's more impactful. And when you're training, you're sweating, and I still do it now. And but the injuries is not worth to cop after and to help people. So I chose Kung Fu. I chose Wing Chun Kung Fu more specifically, and I love Wushu and I love all the art. And I've got the staff which teaches Wushu in Shaolin Kung Fu here. But Kung Fu helps you to be grounded and it helps you to be able to be present in the moment in doing Kung Fu anywhere at any time. I used to tell the kids when I say, hey guys, has anyone done any martial arts? Like I will teach a school group. And I was like, yeah, I do karate, I do jiu-jitsu, I do this. And I said, okay, now just to remember, just so you know, I am not backing out all these martial arts because I love them. And in fact, I will teach you on how you can do your block and you call it differently. But why we do Kung Fu, I feel like Kung Fu is a path where, you know, when you go, like we're talking about discipline and respect, it's a daily routine. Whether you're doing martial arts or you're doing tennis or doing basketball or you at home with your friends and family, respect is instilled everywhere you go.
Right.
Okay. So Kung Fu, especially when I went to China, has this ability to do it anywhere, anytime. If I'm holding my cup, I call this a futsal. If I'm holding this, you know, if I'm getting grounded and or people do pray, this is called a wusal, you know. Yeah. So your movement helps you to be in a Kung Fu exercise technique. If you're holding a cup of coffee, if you're holding a stance and you're breathing and you close your eyes, if you were to do karate and you're doing and your movement is so explosive, you probably get told off by your teachers because you have to get that kia out of the way. You know, you have to be loud, you have to be strong, and you have to break boards. So I believe that I utilize the good out of everything to bring into my Kung Fu training for people to see, to speed it up. Like especially if I do the disability program, I get them to break the board. And you know, I still use the makiwara to punch, which is at the back, and if you can see. And I think it's important to bring all these values to it because not everyone will be able to do the iron palm, especially the people with disability. And you can't get them to have any injuries. You know, some people bruise easily based on their illness and so on. So I utilize the intensity to bring it together. So Kung Fu, I guess, will allow me to complete and fulfill my mission with injury free, where no one would have to sort of feel this injury of contact training. That I would say that probably will be the main reason why I chose, we call this Empower Tactical and not a Kung Fu school or not a karate school, because we want people to be empowered. We want people to walk through the door and say, okay, I would learn to learn Kung Fu. That's the show. They want to learn Kung Fu. They want to be learning Wing Chun Kung Fu. They want to learn a bit of boxing. And they walk out the other door. I want them to feel empowered. I want them to feel that, for instance, I tell them that everyone has the ability to kick.
Yes.
I will tell them, if you want to kick, the first thing that you do, and Kung Fu is very simple. I don't know if you can see the wooden dummy at the back.
Yes.
But the wooden dummy is made of 2 arms and a low punch and a knee.
Yeah.
Why is it a knee? Because before you start every kick, you have to bend your knee on a 90 degrees so you can flick it and you can change it to front kick, side kick, and so on. Yeah. So I guess the simplicity of Kung Fu training resonates to my mission. If you want to practice kicking and balance and be healthy, when you're on the street, you want to lift your knee up on a 90-degree angle. Don't bend over because your peripheral vision will be affected. Then you have your knee up on a 90-degree angle, stay straight, and you can see around you and you can do your shoelaces. Now we're going to do both. If you bring this to the karate kick, they have the kicks happening at the same time. So I guess Kung Fu helps me to simplify my message that anyone has the ability to do this, to stay fit and healthy and to do the best. And I guess it was, it reminded me when I was a kid, I was watching so many great movies, like, oh my God, wow. And that's the thing that sort of resonates. And I still feel like, oh my God, that is so impressive. I was talking about the kids who wanted to do this Cobra Kai movement, which is a karate, the crane kick, you know? And how can I explain this in a Kung Fu way when we do balance, we do our knee on a 90-degree angle. We breathe, we stay grounded, and everyone can sort of understand the message without me saying too much. And Wing Chun Kung Fu has a lot of principles. There's economy of movement. We fight on the blind side. We use 2 arms at the same time. I said, hang on. Well, everyone has 2 arms. And if they don't, this is where we use arm and legs. Right. And we know everybody has 4 weapons. The human body is made out of 4 weapons. So I show them on how they can use it. If they got 3, we make the most out of it. I guess that's why I chose Kung Fu. It's easy for me to explain to people, okay, you can do this. And if you think you can't, I'm going to show you why, you know?
Absolutely well articulated there, and you know it's so applicable to your program, like you mentioned. You're using it as a vehicle to bring your message across. I think that's amazing, and a lot of people are inspired, you know, by what you do, and they are empowered. So I want to commend you on the work that you're doing, because it does take a lot of patience, guys, and also not lots of people know the blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes, the dedication, the long hours.
Absolutely.
You know, the tenacity, and really just keeping that momentum and that stride. Sometimes people don't realize. They see us teach at the dojo, but they don't know what all we have to get ready in order to be able to teach there, and, you know, to really spend that time. Time for me, the amount of time that I've spent in the dojo, I've mentioned it countless times before. If I wasn't working, and I'm talking about when I was in South Africa, I was training. So the dojo was, for me and my kids, it was our second home. And that's important that people know that you have to put those hours in, guys. It's a daily ritual. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about gratitude, because I feel that energy of gratitude, you know, whenever we converse. And what is it that you are grateful for in your life today? You know, if you have to look back to a memory, or maybe something happened today, or maybe there's something coming up in the future, what generates that energy of gratitude that I'm experiencing?
Well, I would say I'm grateful for my parents. I think we grew up in a house where my dad was always working. You know, he was there, but he was always spend more time being the bread and butter and breadwinner for the family. He was always the one who had this mindset, I want to do more than what everybody think I can do, you know? So every time he was reaching a goal, he would have 10 more goals lined up. So he wants to do more. And my mom will be complacent. She will be the school teacher, and she will always have, obviously, you know, the goal will be the same, but she will always do the best she can with what she has. And it was very inspiring. I guess I'm grateful that I had both parents with different values that helped me to shape me who I am today. and with the strict guidelines of my mom, who, as I mentioned prior, took me out of martial arts to do better and to be independent. I guess I'm grateful that when I look back, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't be who I am and hungry to do better in myself. And I'm grateful that I'm able to give back and take a minute to acknowledge the hurdles, because obviously it wasn't an easy road to be where I am today. But I'm grateful that I'm able to give back to the community and be appreciated for, like you said, the sweats and the hard work. About 3 years ago, I think that 3 years ago, I had this adverse reaction with a booster, and it was so painful. It still can sometimes give you some nerve pinch. In fact, we're talking about this to Cynthia. Cynthia had the same similar pain through the booster. It's in fact there's a little video playing in the back, and a little documentary that I made that I had to start from the ground up again and reinvent myself. I was in the hospital many times, and it was really painful, sharp pain to the heart, which stopped me from training every day. And I wanted to use that to preach my words, that I didn't want to give up, because that's all I say to people: don't give up. And I try to put a smile on my face, because, like you mentioned before, energy is contagious. And I felt like, instead of repeating myself over and over again, because it's like, you got to do it. And you change to someone else, like, oh, be happy, you got to do this. And I wanted to be a student, and I wanted to do it for myself. And it's still a hard journey, because the pain sometimes comes back and forth, but I enjoyed, and I felt like I'm doing my own program myself. So I would say I'm grateful for myself in not giving up and doing what I do every day, so I can give back to the community, and also all the people and support that I got around me, and all the people that do believe in me. And I said to everyone every day when they come into the studio, the first person you have to be grateful, and the first person you have to listen to, is intuition. And also, when you look at yourself in the mirror, when you brush your teeth, you want to be proud of the person you look at every day. Because if you're not, you always want to be surrounded by the people that you think, or this person, or whoever it might be, to give you the right opinion about yourself. But the truth is, the only person that can help you is yourself. That's true. I tend to believe that sometimes it's important to have gratitude for everyone around us. And I'm very grateful for my beautiful women and my kids and my parents and everyone who's supporting, all the great people that believe in me, and all my students. But I believe it is very important, every single person and individual around the world, to look at yourself in the mirror. It's like, oh my God, I got through yesterday. Wow. Because if you don't reward and be grateful for yourself, and wait for acknowledgement and reward and recognition from others, you might be emotionally affected, thinking, oh my God, no one is acknowledging what I'm doing. But if you can self-teach you that, oh my God, you take a moment and think, yesterday I was there and today I am here. Yes, I didn't come this far to come this far, but you have to take a minute to acknowledge your path, your journey, so you can embrace it and be the person who clap for yourself and say, oh my God, we're going to do this. Because if you can do this, this is a strong mindset that helps you and helps others. We talk about monkey see, monkey do, or monkey bar. You can't move forward if you don't let go of the past.
That's true.
And if anyone who's lost their fight yesterday, for whatever reason, you can't go in the future and train for your last fight, because it might be different. So you always want to move forward and be in the present and focus on yourself. And I guess this is what I'm grateful for everyone, but I'm also grateful for myself to be here today and to talk to you and to share this with everyone on the show.
Absolutely. I agree with you completely. We should celebrate ourselves more often, and we should be grateful for the mistakes we've made. We should be grateful for the losses we've had, because they were all lessons.
Absolutely.
They shaped us into who we are today. They shaped our beliefs. They shaped the way we respond to things. And that was wise words right there. Very, very wise words. And we are grateful for ourselves.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm grateful for you being on the show.
Thank you. And I say to everyone, failure.
You what?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was saying that, like you mentioned, we should be grateful for our mistake, because I believe that failure is like first attempt in learning. Fail is first attempt in learning. I mean, if the most successful people in the world, what's success? Success is saying that you're going to do something and you do it. I always tell my kid, I mean, if you want to be respected in the society, you got to stand by your words. If you say you're going to do the dishes and you do it, trust me, you're gonna stand out from the crowd. You don't have to. Success is not about money or wealth or earning this. Success is about how you feel about yourself when you say and do the thing that you said you're going to do.
That's true.
And also, it takes a lot of failures. It takes a lot of failures to do that. I mean, the truth is, at the gym, if you want to build muscle, you got to go until failure so you can break the muscle and you can be strong. And many people have failed many times, including myself, to be able to get the right recipe, to be able to do this. And we continue to fail every day. And that's the point. I believe that going back to martial arts, having this white belt mentality and embracing knowledge and improving and adapting allows you to stay up to date with the technology and the life, and the everywhere around the world has different way of living and standard of living. And if we can do that and be a white belt, have a white belt mentality and be open-minded and be recipient of the knowledge and embrace your mistakes so you can acknowledge, first of all, that you made a mistake, we're going to live in a better community for an individual ourselves to know, okay, that was wrong, I can do better, or how can I improve from this? Because then you know how you can improve.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. And you've shared so many amazing points here, and I'm sure the audience is going to think, about it when they're done with watching our show. I know they're going to chew on it, and it's going to come back to them, because that's what happens to me often when I go to these public speaking events, or when I go to martial arts events. I meet people there and they say things, and then, I'm in the moment, and then later when I'm training or later when I'm doing something, I remember what they said, and I kind of formulate it into something that I can apply in my own life. So I know that's what's going to happen here as well. It's been a wonderful honor to host you on the show. Thank you for your time and the effort it took to be here.
Thank you.
And really appreciative of you. And God bless you and your family. Us to you. And I'm sure we'll still do more projects together.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.